Assalamu alaikum. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adhaban nar. Rabbana hab lana min azwajina wa dhurriyyatina qurrata a'yun waj'alna lil muttaqina imama. ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العظيم وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. All right, inshallah, let's start our discussion on from the 25th flash message for the sick. We are going to start a new remedy, which is the 10th remedy, inshallah. So I know with everybody probably is awake, hopefully, inshallah, because I will need some help from all of you who are present, inshallah. And the 9th remedy we focused heavily on, I think we had 3 sessions on it, on how to look at death and not to be worried about death and seeing that as something that is really good and beneficial to us, which is a very different outlook on how usually death is taken as, that people usually are shy not to, or like they don't want to talk about it, it hurts. But here very comfortably the author presented us to understand how death is really basically an introduction to the divine mercy, experiencing going back to your source of existence. So all these remedies we are studying are actually the author's reflections on the verse from, to God do we belong and to him is our return, which is from the Quran, chapter 2, verse 156. All right, so let's get started. I'll start reading the 10th remedy. O sick person who worries unnecessarily. All right, sick person who worries unnecessarily. You worry at the severity of your illness, and that worry exacerbates your sickness. So the worry exacerbates your sickness. If you want your illness to be less severe, try not to worry. That is, think of the benefits of your illness, the recompense for it, and that it will pass quickly. It will remove the worry and cut the illness at the root. So if you think of the benefits of your illness, the recompense for it, and that it will pass quickly, it will remove the worry and cut the illness at the root. In fact, worry doubles the illness. For worry causes an immaterial illness of the heart, underlying the physical illness. The physical illness subsists through that and persists. If the worry ceases through submission, contentment, and comprehension of the reason for the illness, a large part of the illness is eradicated. The illness becomes less severe and in part disappears. Sometimes a minor physical illness increases tenfold just through anxiety. If the anxiety ceases, 9/10 of the illness disappears. If the anxiety ceases, 9/10 of the illness disappears. Worry increases illness. It also is an accusation against divine wisdom and a criticism of divine mercy and complaint against the compassionate Creator. For this reason, the person who worries receives a rebuff, and it increases his illness contrary to his intentions. Yes, just as thanks increases bounty, so does complaint increase illness and tribulations. Just as thanks increases bounty, so complaint increases illness and tribulations. Furthermore, worry is itself an illness. Its cure is to recognize the wisdom in illness and its purpose. So the cure for the worry is to recognize the wisdom in illness and its purpose, the purpose of the illness. Since you have now learned these, apply the salve to your worry and find relief. Say, ah, I got it now. Instead of, oh, this is happening, I'm worried. And all praise be to God for every situation, instead of sighing and lamenting. All right, so this was an interesting part, the 10th remedy. I really have a few questions as I'm thinking about it. I mean, just to give an overview of what I took away, the author is saying, hey, you know, when you're sick or presented with some calamity, you know, you start worrying, and this worry is unnecessary. So watch out for this worrisome attitude that you may have. You may start thinking about, you know, what will happen, what's going to go on, and just focus on that physical side of things. Let's say if there's an injury, you just start focusing on that physical injury side of it. Whereas the author says this is an unnecessary worry. Actually, he's saying you're worrying at, you know, the worry itself. If you start worrying, let's go to the first paragraph. He says you worry at the severity of your illness, and that worry exacerbates the illness. So the worry, you're looking at he says, we human beings start worrying at, you know, at the situation, at the event of the illness or at the calamity, and start just going within or at the present, that calamity itself, rather than seeing a bigger whole picture of where is that so-called calamity, so-called illness is coming from. And we've discussed this matter previously on seeing that, you know, the illness and the health, where is the health coming from, and the one who gives health, you know, if he gives the lack of health, which we call as illness, that is also coming from the one who is giving illness. So we did kind of discuss over it, and now we're going over some of the different aspects of how the author is sharing, you know, with different ways of, you know, touching upon different points that I think are very interesting and important for us to look into. In this case, worries. I never thought of it worries this way until, I mean, I've read this before also, but this is another aspect that probably I think it's important to understand how worries, you know, we worry is a very common thing to worry these days. You know, things are happening every time all around us. We go through life situations, and, you know, lo and behold, you know, we just get stuck in that particular event and start worrying about the event, and, you know, may start making future future plans on how, you know, how long this is going to last, and can I get out of the situation, and not seeing that, you know, take this as a learning opportunity, that this event, I can learn from this, or the illness that I am in, you know, not worry about it, but to see that what's the, you know, what is it teaching me, what is it bringing me, what is it allowing me to do, and living in that particular moment, but keeping that connection with the one who brings you the health and is now presenting you with some lack of health. But what I would like to ask and try to understand is the next question. So if you want your illness to be less severe, try not to worry. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so not worry, and then your illness is not will be less severe. So how, when he says that is, think of the benefits of your illness, the recompense for it, and that it will pass quickly. It will remove the worry and cut the illness at the root. Now, so I was wondering, how does this work? So I have to think of the benefits of the illness, the recompense for it, and then it will pass quickly. So this, thinking of this, will remove the worry and cut the illness at the root. So is this some of like the view that I have on my illness, that, hey, start focusing on the existential side of the illness, thinking what could be the benefit of the illness? So that is my first question. If anybody would like to share what they think of what is the benefit, and also if they can touch on the recompense part. I think the third one is more understandable, that it passes quickly because you don't think about it, you don't feel it. But what is the benefit of illness and what is the recompense for it? Would anybody like to share? Yes, Asa, please go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much, Asim. So what I was taking away from this is the way I was seeing it is, or understanding it is, to not to look at the illness as it is. But I definitely know when you get it. I know personally, whenever I would get ill, it feels like there's a pause in my activities and stuff. And I'm really anxious to know, when is this illness going to go away so I can go ahead and continue with my daily activities. But the way I see it now, that sickness comes as a reminder. To me, at least, I know if I get sick, it's a reminder that, everything around me, life will go on, things will go on, activities will come, or whatever I need to do, this will go on. But I need to pause for a second and really get myself together, in a sense, to become more aware and conscious about where is all this coming from. So it would bring back to the point, prior to my sickness, when I was in good health, I was able to do the activities. Oh, Alhamdulillah, I was able to do all these activities and I was not sick and I was healthy. Who gave this to me? But when in good health, I was too busy with the activities. I did not really pause, even for maybe, I'm not saying every moment. Of course, there were moments I would pause and, recognize who the source of existence is. But I feel like sickness is really a major reminder for a person that, you have to acknowledge where health is coming from and where sickness is coming from. And rather than looking at sickness and just thinking that, what is going to happen to me next. With this, there's another point that I feel like it's linked to the ninth remedy, where the author clearly, it's clearly said that neither sickness nor health is the cause to death. So here too, I think what happens is when a person gets sick, we're worried, like, what is going to be the outcome of it? So, but if we really pause and think about it, neither sick nor health is the cause to death. So it is like a reminder, which makes you questioning, like, where is this coming from? Where did health came from? Who gave me health? And who's giving me sickness now? And you become very conscious, and you acknowledge who your source of existence is, and you become at ease with that. I'm sorry if it was a little confusing, but this was my takeaway.
Thank you, Asa. It was pretty clear to me, and I think you really nailed the point that you wanted to make. So the benefit, as I understood from your comment, is it puts into your regular daily activities, it kind of puts a pause on those activities, and it makes you reflect, because now your regular activity, you're not doing that as you've been doing it, and now you have the opportunity with the sickness to really think about your state, your being, and it gives you that reminder, as the word you used, Asifa. And so I say reflection and reminder, and thinking about, as you just repeating what you said, basically like who is giving this to me, how's the situation coming, and establishing your real, realizing who you are actually, that you are not existing on your own, but there you have somebody who is giving you existence and somebody who is giving you health. So that source, that you're the owner, your owner of existence, the one who gives you existence, the one who gives you health, is the one who is taking care of you. So that relationship it's the opportunity to start that relationship. Appreciate that. Thank you, Brother Ali. Please go ahead.
From my own experience and my own understanding, I don't like illness. That is sure. I don't want to be ill either. But when it is given, I become a different person. Why? Because in my experience, everybody may not share the same feeling. I respect that. My feeling was, when I am ill, I suddenly realized that, look, I say this is my body, this is my life, but I cannot do anything to my body, to my life. I cannot really control it. That makes me realize that I don't own myself. That is a very great, very useful, very beneficial realization for me. Since I cannot control myself, I'm not the owner of myself, I have to think, who owns me then? Who controls my life? The one who gave me. I cannot say that I am the product of the earth and air and light and my cells, the cells of my body. That's me. I cannot make myself. I cannot be the product of my own cells. If I need to be given existence, my cells have to be given existence as well, because they are me. Anyways, that makes me realize that I belong to a one who gave me existence within the conditions of this universe, which means this understanding extends my comprehension that I am the product of the one who created the universe. So it is so great for me to come to this realization, because I say, okay, I don't own myself, but it is good that I don't own myself, because I cannot really provide the needs of my existence. But the one who is the creator of the universe, I belong to. Oh, I feel so relaxed. That's why think of the benefits of your illness. In my experience, I say it is a benefit which is priceless. You cannot really get this relaxation, get this security in my life in another way at all, because I cannot say that mountains are going to protect me, or the earth is going to take care of me. I know that they just give me death and no hope in the future, because they themselves are powerless. They know nothing at all. They have no will, no free will, or whatever the will, kind of will. They have nothing. They are subject to the order of the whole universe. So I feel that only the one who owns the universe is my owner, and I belong to him. Illness helps me to realize it, but I am given the sense not to like illness. Why? Because I will appreciate health in this way. So it will help me realize that health is also in the hands of the one who owns the universe. So it is a double benefit now. I belong to the owner of the universe, and my health belongs to the owner of the universe. How about the illness? Yes, it belongs to the owner of the universe, because I need to remember who I am, what my situation, what my status is in the universe. So it is a gift. When it is given, I must accept it because it is a gift from my creator, so that I will come to my realization of my reality, my status in the universe. It is, I understand that illness is given to human beings as a result of mercy, not as a result of curse, anger, punishment. No, I mean, I see that when I am ill, I am so modest. What it cannot be a curse. The result is so beneficial for me. I must appreciate my creator for giving me the illness, although he gave me the sense not to like it. So I shouldn't turn it into a criticism, but I must accept it and welcome it, but try to get away from it. That's my responsibility. But I should never turn illness into a point of criticism or criticizing the creator or not being happy about being ill. I have to keep the balance. And it is a great benefit. When I think of this great benefit, I understand that there should be no worry about myself, about my illness. I must be happy, but I am happy, but I want to be away from it. That is the seemingly contradictory position that human beings confuse. I may confuse as well, but when I think of it in a free way, comfortable way, I say I shouldn't confuse these two aspects of I don't want it, but when it comes, I must welcome it. I will try to get rid of it. I will pray to my creator, take this illness. I got my lesson from it. Thank you, but take it away, because you made me love health better. Thank you very much. This is the balance we have to keep.
Thank you, Brother Ali. That was beautiful. So yeah, I think that is an amazing aspect of the benefit that we're getting from the illness. It's very experiential, as you mentioned. I feel that sometimes, when I wake up early in the morning and I can realize, I realize my state of being. I'm like, wow, this existence is what kind of state am I in? Before then I gradually get the energy and the metabolism to go through the day. But the illness, as you have mentioned it, yes, I don't like it. That's correct. So it does make me reflect. It's a reminder. But then the part about that I don't want the illness, and I ask the one who is presenting me this, I start appreciating health. So that's another benefit. I start appreciating health, and this realization that Brother Ali mentioned about, that I don't own anything. I cannot do anything to my body, my cells. Everything is the one who is presenting it to me, and the illness is not something that is a punishment or anything, but this is something that is out of mercy. So it's not like a torture being happening, but this is mercy to the human being. And it's an interesting way of looking at it, that sickness now is a mercy. This is a very new kind of way of looking at sickness. Because, I agree that you said as long as, we don't want the physical sickness, and that's correct, but that makes us appreciate health, but that makes us seek, as Aswa and you mentioned, about the source of the health, the source of your life, the source of your body, the source of your tools or human side, the feeling that you have. So that realization is priceless, that, understanding that, you're seeking that security from that source, or the health from that source that, is taking care of you. So what more benefit is there? And that is also the recompense, I would say. That realization is the recompense. Alhamdulillah. So anybody else would like to add or have any comment? So this realization, as Brother Ali mentions, I think that is what will remove the worry and cut the illness at the root. So with that realization of your source of health, your source of existence, there's no need to worry. But that is, we have to experience this. Yes, Fariha, please take it away.
Jazakallah khair for all the comments thus far. And Brother Ali's comment actually is very enlightening. Looking at illness or any calamity as a mercy. It's like, subhanAllah, I am not used to looking at creation this way. So this is just very eye-opening, where really, and just Asim was mentioning about this realizing that what my position pretty much is in this universe. That's whatever is making me realize that's just, it becomes like a blessing, where, as was mentioned in the comments, where not only do I acknowledge or recognize that, yeah, I enjoy health all this time, I take it for granted, or anything, it could be in any sort of personal situation that we may experience. We don't, sometimes we tend to focus on just one little glitch that we sort of mess up the whole bigger picture of things. So yes, a little sudden break or interruption in our routine makes us recognize everything else that we are endowed with, but more importantly, it makes us recognize the giver of these bounties, or the source of existence of, like in this topic we're talking about, source of existence of health. And it's really a transformation aspect to things. So rather than worrying about a calamity or an undesired experience, I use it to transform myself. And that's what needs to be done, because we need to be reminded of, like everybody said, who am I in my existence? Who am I really as a created being, and what am I to do here? It also puts a little focus in when we are experiencing such undesired events. It puts a focus on also looking into, what matters at the end of the day. What am I to do here? Who's really fundamentally, who's giving me existence, really? And am I in acknowledgement of that? So once I find the source of my existence, then, so that was the purpose of anything that we experience, to really, that I realize who am I and who the source of my existence is. And so this really also while you guys were speaking and the reading was, I was thinking, yeah, really, so how can I use any undesired event to benefit me. So really existentially, it benefits me. It tells me what my situation here is. So alhamdulillah. Thank you.
Thank you, Fariha. So the aspect about the pause that we get, and we feel that it looks apparently like a glitch, as the words you used, in our routine, in our, in the system, but it's actually not a glitch. It is very purposeful, since if we realize this, that it is presented to us to realize, and that is coming from the one. Because I personally realized that, right? Everybody can realize that this, they have no control in terms of what their, health is. They cannot give health to themselves. There is no, the cells that they are in, they have no control over their physical body. So that realization is what's the key. So that is how the mercy is, merciful aspect of that connection is what that realization is bringing. Wonderful. And anybody else who would like to add anything? So before we go to the next paragraph. So I'm going to go to the next paragraph, and let me ask a question also in the next paragraph. So it says, in fact, worry doubles the illness, for the worry causes an immaterial illness of the heart underlying the physical illness. The physical illness subsists through that and persists. And so if the worry ceases through submission, contentment, and comprehension of the reason for the illness, a large part of the illness is eradicated. It becomes less severe and in part disappears. So my question here is, how does this worry being doubled, how does worry double the illness? Because if this worry is ceasing with the realization that we spoke about, then the sickness, physical sickness, disappears. Would anybody want to speak to that? Like, how is worry increasing, adding to the sickness? Brother Ali, please go ahead.
I think the question should start with another question, and then it helped me to answer your question. It said, the first line says, in fact, worry doubles the illness. Why? Why worry doubles the illness? It seems to be when I worry about it, I will become sensitive, and then I will be more careful. But of course, worry is not a healthy way of taking care of the result. Worry means hurrying and mixing up the order of the creation, order of the world. When you worry about whether you are going to fall down, etc., what you do now while you are climbing down the stairs, because you become so sensitive that you just fall down, because of not being really, not taking everything under control and rationally following the steps of the order. Now, it says, because why worry doubles the illness? Because it causes an immaterial illness of the heart. What? That is an interesting question. Immaterial illness of the heart. Why worry? I'm sure the answer is there, clear. Why does worry cause an immaterial illness of the heart? And what do you mean by immaterial illness of the heart? Not the heart that I had an operation about. That's not that illness. The meat part of the heart. No. What heart represents? Feelings, human feelings. So immaterial illness of the heart, it means illness in the feelings. Why? Why it is an illness? Because when I worry about what is created for me, it becomes, it is the result of the unknown situation. For example, walking in a dangerous place in very dark time, at night, very dark, there is no light, walking in the dangerous land, you may fall down, you may step on something dangerous, etc. You just worry about your future because you don't know what will come up for you. But if someone understands, as it is studied in the first paragraph, that illness is given to us on a deliberate reason for many different kinds of instances of wisdom may be behind it. For example, if I'm not careful about my health, it may be a reminder. If I need to understand my existential reality, it is definitely a way of opening up the path to reality in front of me. So it means if I don't appreciate the wisdom in the creation of illness and take cautions accordingly or take lessons from it accordingly, it means I am attributing the illness to random happenings. And then I say, I don't know why, but it hit me now rather than somebody else. The illness came to me accidentally. Of course, this person cannot feel secure in his existence because everything is accidentally happening in this world for this person. Now, everything is accidentally happening means when you drive a car in the street, there is no rule, there is no purpose, there is no free will that human beings will take notice of each other's position, but accidental driving. Can you imagine? Definitely you will have an accident because it is a random happenings around there. There is no control. So in this situation, human beings, if the human beings attribute their existence to accident, they are bound to attribute the illness to accident as well. And accident, bad luck, for that's what they use in this sense. There's a bad luck. Accident, bad luck happens in an accidental universe. How a human being can feel happy, can feel peace in his being? Accident can happen anything, anytime to anyone. Of course, this person has to worry. And this worry not doubles, actually, multiplies the effect of the illness in my being, because I will say, I will blame myself. I am not a lucky person because everything comes out of luck. That is why, actually, if the illness of the heart persists, remains, it means if I don't feel comfortable about the source of existence of the illness, definitely my psychological situation, my nerve system, my immune system will not feel comfortable and work in relaxation. So that, for example, most of the illnesses are cured. That's what we hear while we are sleeping, because our nervous system, our immune system is not disturbed by our emotional influence on them. So we have to understand that physical side of human beings have some sort of connection with the psychological side of human beings. That's why they say uh, for the doctor, to the doctors, give a promising future to the sick person and give them confidence that this medicine will work. Not a cheating way, of course, but give a positive, leave a positive influence on them. So they will have relaxed. That's why this medicine, which is called not real medicine, they call it pseudo something. There must be a name for it. There is a name, but I don't know. Although it has no placebo, I think. Yeah. Thank you, Ahmed. Placebo, I think my pronunciation is right or wrong. I don't know. Placebo effect. Why? It gives hope. Now that is why it has an effect on me. It gives hope. Worry destroys hope. Thank you very much.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Brother Ali. That was really good. So the immaterial illness of the heart is basically the worryful side that a human being may take, not realizing and appreciating, his state of being is coming from his Lord. But yeah, and the link that you made about the physical side of that is connected to your heart, your spiritual, your psychological state is very, I think it makes sense. But I see a hand up. Fariha, you want to say something?
Mariam Osterman asked a question on the chat.
Okay, so Mariam Ostermir, please go ahead. So Mariam is asking, placebo gives hope. That's the question that Mariam has. So, all right, Mariam, that's a good question. So that is an analogy, an example of that, how the psychological effect in human beings, the hope part that is there. Hope is something that, it's not something physical, it's not there, but it's a psychological state of being that if somebody encourages and it gives hope to someone, the person starts feeling happy. So that's what the placebo effect is, that it kind of shows you, in the example Brother Ali used, that that the hope there is there, and your inner self, your heart, your psychological state is more satisfied, that there is hope to a positive outcome. Otherwise, that the negative side is if there's no hope, then the worry kind of has a psychological effect on you as well, because now you start really being worried, and it deteriorates your physical side as well. So I hope if that clarifies it. If not, you can raise your hand or ask it again. Anybody else would like to add anything or say anything? All right, thanks, Mariam. So Hamim says, example, take this pill and you will be cured, although the pill has no chemicals. It's just a state of mind that puts things at ease. Yep, thank you. All right, so let's move on. And it says, if the worry ceases through submission. So there's somebody had their hand up. I didn't see it actually. H. Beza, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm still formulating my thoughts right now, but it's in a way ironic, the way that worry doubles illness, because if I based on what we've been discussing in the first paragraph, if I do not see, if I do not question what the source of the illness is, um, then, and if I define myself as a material being, um, then that mindset, or what I'm trying to say is, if I, in defining myself as a material being, it is my human side that is not being fulfilled, that is um, increasing, or that plays a role in the increasement or increasing of the physical illness as well. So in kind of denying, so if I say that, it is bad luck that I got this illness, or if I attribute my health or the sickness to anything within the universe, or within the nature of or of the nature of the universe, then that very fact increases the illness of my human side, if you will, which I found a little bit ironic, if that kind of makes sense. In denying myself on my human side, it is my human side, it is the illness on my human side which amplifies the sickness of my material body. um, and I think, for practical use, we make this distinction between the physical body and the human side. But I think in a way, this text also highlights just how much the two are intertwined together or interlinked. And, it, as much as my human qualities go beyond the universe, I do have this physical um, shell or vehicle that I use as well. So, um, kind of thinking of them both together as opposed to two separate entities. Just some thoughts that are still being formulated in my mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Hpeza. Yeah, that made sense to me because they're all linked as a human being. Your physical and psychological, that's how we are living together, and everything is interrelated to each other. And that's exactly the point I feel that the author kind of is pointing at, that if your worries are, gaining, and that's the immaterial illness of the heart, which is the human side is not pleased, it's disturbed, and it's, that's the psychological state of the human being. And of course that adds to the already physical illness, although this part, is more important. That's the root of the part that needs to be healed, which is the human side of human beings, the immaterials. Yeah, okay, so anybody else who wants to comment? I saw like Brother Adam, your mic was on, so I don't know if you want to say something. You can always raise your hand. But I think also in this whole paragraph is kind of highlighting that aspect of how this immaterial illness of the heart, so this worry kind of plays a role, and how, based on your misunderstanding of your source of how you see the world, the existence of the things of the universe, your own being, not understanding it, or understanding in the wrong way, as Brother Ali kind of pointed out about the seeing if, oh, this is luck, and not seeing that there is a conscious will and purpose and order with which this everything is happening, then that will be a very painful kind of illness for the human being, because everything is sort of random, and you cannot trust anything. If it's random, there is no hope, because you never know. There's the uncertainty aspect that Brother Ali mentioned, that if things were not there in the order, the way they're working. But of course, yeah, there is that unknown side of the order also that there is. And I think that's what the human worry kind of goes into. But then that is also the worry, I think this author is saying, that your focus on your, who the owner of this universe is. Realize that, that's why I think in the middle sentence that he says, if the worry ceases through submission. So see who that either known or part of the order, or the unknown part is under the command or under the order of that owner of the universe. Then that is what the submission would be like. Submit that, realize that. And your worry should, if you really realize who the owner of this order, whether it be the regular order that we know of or the unknown aspect of it, is all under his knowledge, under his order, under his will. So submit to his will. And then that is what that realization and seeking his, working for with his knowledge, with his acknowledgement and his appreciation, that is what the contentment and comprehension of the reason for the illness. That's how I understood it. But if anybody would like to talk on this aspect of the sentence, if the worry ceases through submission, how they understand submission, contentment, and comprehension of the reason for the illness, please raise your hand. Like, well, how do you understand submission and contentment in this case? Because that is the key to eradicate the worry that human beings can usually, fall into. So it's really using our, human faculties, our consciousness, realization to understand what the order, who the order giver is, who the owner of the universe is, and submit to his will, to his order. All right, so I guess if that is understood. You want to make a comment? Yes, please go ahead.
So pretty much what you addressed about the sentence that says, if the worry ceases through submission, contentment, and comprehension of the reason for the illness, a large part of the illness is eradicated. It's this is huge actually, because it starts off with submission, and it's going back to all the comments thus far about acknowledging the source of existence rather than, random happening or just something that is accidental without any sort of conscious will. That's I think that's where that's the whole, I think, focus area, or that's the main purpose of recognizing anything, is that it's not a random act. My existence is not a random act. So the cell in my body is not acting randomly on its own. So just, I think, wrapping one's head around it then leads to a bigger purpose, as in leads to me being able to connect or recognizing my existence as coming, or as a direct manifestation of a conscious will. So any quality that I experience, the feeling, emotions, they're all imparted onto me. They're like, everything is a messenger then. So the illness becomes a messenger. It makes me ponder even on these feelings, just like we said, the like and dislike. And so I recognize that it's a deliberate setup to teach me something. It's making me recognize this absolute mercy, I would say. So from submission to contentment. And so when I recognize this, or I have this realization, so then the contentment happens, where I found the source of my existence, a divine, merciful one. And although I was also thinking about, which obviously leads to comprehension of the reason for the illness. So it's like an all-encompassing package. But then I was also thinking about how the author previously, in the previous remedy, mentions about do not complain. So that also ties in with that. Like, do not complain about the illness. In terms of what am I complaining to, then becomes also the question. So if I think it's a random act, I'm just gonna be.
Yeah, that's the next paragraph.
Oh, okay. So sorry, I'll leave it for that. Go,
No, but you
Go ahead,
Go
that's
ahead.
okay.
Finish your point.
no, that's it. I'm done. Thanks. Go ahead.
Thank you, Fariha. Anybody else would like to add to this paragraph, to this middle sentence before we move on to the next paragraph? Now's the time. All right, as Fariha started touching upon, that, complaining about whatever is happening to us. So the paragraph says, worry increases illness. It is also an accusation against divine wisdom and a criticism of divine mercy, and complaint against the compassionate creator. So Fariha, if you want to pick up, as you were mentioning about this point, you were asking, like, how do we start complaining to, what are we complaining to the source that we found? And so please.
Let me reformulate my thoughts.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so yeah, so this one, again, I think this is another point that is a recurring theme in, I think, this author's works, because he's always bringing our attention to, realize who you are and who your Lord is, and everything that in creation is actually good. So a few moments ago, Brother Ali talked about that illness being, a mercy. So it's a reward, it's a benefit for a person, and one should be grateful for sickness. This is really interesting. Like, if you can experience this practically, I think it, we all should try this, and it's something that could be very, would be helpful to our being. So here he says, like this, worry is why does it increase illness? Because in the previous paragraph, we spoke about the immaterial illness of the heart, and that is what the worry, the state of being worryful is. And that is the part where he says worry increases illness, because there is no hope, as Maria mentioned about that. If you think that everything is randomly happening, then there can be no hope. There is no security in anything. So yeah, definitely there is a problem there with the worry. And this worry is an accusation. This is pretty strong in terms of against divine wisdom and a criticism of divine mercy, and complaint against the compassionate creator. I think we need to digest this somewhat, like how this worry becomes an accusation against the divine wisdom, because, and why is it, how can we kind of, see the illness as really mercy? This is something I would say a work in progress. But the opposite side of start complaining, and then basically that complaint leads to the accusation of the one who is giving existence to, by, the health was not mine to begin with, and now there's a lack of health. Now I'm not the one, or my cells are not the one. Nothing in the universe is the one that is controlling my body. So what, as Faria said, what am I complaining to or against then? If everything is given existence by that owner for a purpose, and it is for my benefit. So really it is my, wrongful thinking, my wrongful understanding that, that where I would complain. But if my rightful understanding would be that this is a message from him, a means for the owner of the universe, sickness being a means for me to recognize him, for getting closer to him, and really appreciating all the bounties that are being given to me. Anybody who would like to speak on this paragraph? And it's interesting how he says, the person who worries receives a rebuff, and it increases his illness contrary to his intentions. So there's this reminder, sort of, we are given in our existence different twists and turns, different, experiences, and that is kind of a means to bring us back to our reality. Brother Ali, please go ahead. Thank you for your comments. Appreciate them.
I feel that the universe is so innocent out there, and also it doesn't take any part. It just does its duty. Whatever the duty is been given to it, it just carries away, regardless of people's attitude, etc. So the problem is very simple for human beings, although we make it very, very complicated, especially by the philosophers. But especially the language of the Quran is very clear, very simple. Look at the universe. Can you claim that it is acting by itself, arranging itself, every single being in it, independently according their position to the rest of the universe? Does it make sense? You are a human being. What the Quran says, either the universe is created by one conscious being, or everything in the universe must have an independent existence by themselves. Which one makes sense to you? It's a very simple argument. Very simple argument. As the prophet Joseph's story, he wanted to give an advice to his prison inmates. And he said, can I tell you something before I interpret your dream? It means before I do a favor for you? They said, of course, the favor will follow it. So they said, okay, go ahead. He said, very simple. Do you think that a slave has one master or multiple masters? Which one is easy for the slave? Of course, the answer is obvious. If I am a slave and if I have 100 masters, every one of them will want me to do many things, different things. I wouldn't know which one I should do. That is an example, simple. Quran gives always the simplest example. It means universe is a slave. Why? It is subject to the order. Now, if you think that every element of the universe has a say to the action of everything else, then the universe will be completely in confusion. As the Quran says again, if there was more than one creator, one Lord of the universe will be in chaos. Completely, it won't work. It will just collapse. It would collapse. So it is working. You know that it is under the command of one Lord. This is very easy. Why am I going in this way? So the illness, the worry increases illness. It also an accusation against divine wisdom and a criticism of divine mercy. And it means divine wisdom, divine mercy, and divine compassionate being, creator. These are divine. This is very important. The divine part of it is important. It means the universe is under one control. Everything in the universe happens as one creator, the absolute being, wills them to be. That's one master over the universe. So if we really worry, it means we don't trust this one divine being. So when you look at the universe, we are given free existence, we are given free life, we are given free feelings, everything is free. Body is free, feelings, the human soul is free. All our human senses are freely given. It means the one who controls the universe gives everything freely. But if he gives something, which we don't like it, then it means he gives something and wants me not to like it. It is a perfect arrangement. When I don't like it, when I don't like that is given to me, I need explanation. I need meaning. For example, if I am forced to run or to do a job, but under pressure, I do it, but at the same time, my psychological stress overwhelms me, encompasses all my feelings that I am unhappy. But if I know that this training needs to be done in order to fulfill my future expectations, in order to make my life in the future better. It means, for example, a person is preparing himself or herself for the Olympic Games, and the coach says, run this. If you do this in the morning every day, once or twice, whatever the number, then you will be the winner in the Olympic game. You will achieve your expectations. Then I would be doing the same thing, but with an hope, with meaning, and I don't feel the pressure on me. That's why if I don't really realize that the illness is given to me by a compassionate creator with wisdom, with a purpose, it is a divine mercy presenting the illness to me. If I don't see the reason behind it, I will definitely criticize it. When I criticize the wisdom, it means I will, wisdom and reason, wisdom and mercy and compassion, I will deprive myself of, because I will think that I am under pressure, meaningless torture is happening to me, not purposeless torture, purposeless training is happening to me. That is how the attitude affects the physical side of the illness. And that's how I understood. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Ali. Thank you. So anybody else who would like to add anything or have any questions or comments? Faria has a comment. Please go ahead.
So, I was thinking about trying to connect with the point I was making earlier. I was thinking about the complaint part that we usually do. I think that's just like a first reaction to anything that is undesired. It's like a complaint. But if I think that something is happening as randomly, or I don't see a conscious will behind the existence of something, then it seems as if this feeling of complaint is wasted, and it doubles the worry because I'm not getting out of any sort of situation. And so rather than, okay, as soon as I catch myself complaining about something, but I'm like, hey, this is coming into existence, cannot be happening by itself. So then that would lead to that part in the earlier paragraph about submission, contentment, and comprehension. Because I was thinking, okay, so, how the author has been encouraging us throughout this whole treatise not to complain. And so, okay, don't complain. So I was thinking, okay, so, anything you experience, don't complain. So what is an automatic result of not complaining? So if I'm not complaining, then looks like that should lead me either to total despair, where the worry doubles, or it leads me to submission, contentment, and comprehension, where just like Brother Lee said right now, it leads me to recognize the wisdom or the divine mercy behind the existence of anything.
Thank you, Fariha. So, yeah, another aspect or another addition to that is, the divine aspect of the wisdom. So is your mic up?
What's that?
Your mic is open.
My mic is on. Sorry.
That's all right. Yeah, so the divine aspect, the divine wisdom and criticism, we start complaining against the wisdom and mercy and compassion, then, that really not appreciating that, then that's the deprivation. That is a very sick state of, that's the harshest illness, I would say. So that was really good, that we need to revise our understanding of how illness works, and, seeing the mercy aspect of it and the wisdom aspect. So that is why, for this reason, the author says, the person who worries receives a rebuff, so is rejected, and deprivation, as Brother Ali kind of pointed out at, and that increases his illness contrary to his intentions, even though, the individual would not want illness, but because of their complaint and against the owner, the source of health, of illness, of the universe. And that was an interesting phrase, Brother Ali mentioned, about the universe is innocent. We start, making excuses and blaming things here and there, putting, on those things in the universe, when in fact, the universe is really innocent, if you think about it. All right, so so in the last sentence, yes, just as thanks increases bounty. If you're appreciative, if you're grateful of something, then whoever, that adds to that is a recognition, it's appreciation, permits for more. Because you're appreciating the mercy, the compassion of the owner of the universe. So that is an increase, and the complaint, causes your problems, illnesses, and gets you away from any sort of mercy or compassion. Things to really think about. All right, so let's move on. If anybody wants to comment on this paragraph before we go to the concluding paragraph, now's the time. All right. So the last paragraph, furthermore, worry is itself an illness. So this is the point, actually, I think the author kind of wants to bring to our attention, that worry is the illness. So worry is itself an illness, and the cure is to recognize the wisdom in illness and its purpose. The cure for this illness of worry is to recognize the wisdom in illness and the purpose of your illness. So really that is the way to get out of, like, realize that any sort of worry is a sickness within your being. So we need to get out of that worrisome state. And since you have now learned these, apply the salve to your worry and find relief. Say, the sickness is not really, is there to teach me something. It is merciful. This is the statement I think we need to start getting into. That stop worrying about, any calamity, any sort of event that you're going through, but see the wisdom side of it, like that there is this aspect of divine wisdom, divine mercy, compassion in those events. And yeah, instead of complaining, oh, this thing hurt me, this is bothering me, and the conclusion of all praise be to God for every situation, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, instead of complaining. This was really beautiful. I think this was a good remedy to go over, and seeing that how worry is an illness itself. So worry, how worry plays a role in your psychological, your human state, and becomes an illness for your body. Your physical side gets even worse. And if you, as a human being, if you use your senses, you realize and connect your, your being, your existence, realize who the health giver is and who is the one who is presenting you with this illness. Although physically I don't want the illness, yes, I will ask for not to be, to take me away from this situation of this illness, but the one who is presenting me also makes me realize and appreciate health. So I go back to the health giver. All right, so I think this is the 10th remedy. Any final comments by anyone? I think we still have a few minutes, but Maria, please go ahead.
It's very interesting how the author presented the case to us, where he starts off saying, "O sick person who worries unnecessarily." It's like an immediate reaction to anything. Something undesired happened, we worry. And then in the next paragraph, he goes on saying that worry doubles the illness, right? So that's concerning. Oh no, I don't want to be double ill, right? So that's another off guard, or like a red flag. And then he describes how we went over it. But then he says, the third paragraph, worry increases illness. So you say, no, I don't want my illness to double. Oh, so if I keep worrying that it's going to increase it, no, I definitely don't want that. And then finally, just like Asim pointed out, the author concludes that the worry itself is an illness. So it's interesting how the case is being brought back to us. It's just like you start with a feeling and then assess it, analyze it, and you come back to it, but concluding that I need to do something about this. I don't desire the illness, but it's given. So let me take a proper measure in terms of what I need to do in order to utilize the illness for its purpose. So I just wanted to share in how I thought it was very fascinating the way the author presented this topic of worrying. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you, Fariha. Now I think it's time for Mariam Ozdemir to share her notes. If Mariam, you can go ahead. Oh, before that, I think Brother Ali, would you like to say something? Go ahead. Brother Ali, go ahead.
Yeah, somebody else wanted to say something before me, actually. H. Beza raised her hand before me.
Oh, okay, please. HBasa, go ahead.
Um, I had a small comment, and that was, it's interesting how, based on Faria's last comment as well, I easily find myself in a state of worrying. But as we go through these paragraphs, the author also defines what that worry looks like. And I think in saying not to worry, I mean, I think I can say, I am made in a way where, as we had discussed earlier, I don't want to be sick. I don't prefer illness. So if my worry, or if I am made to worry about this in a way where I am looking out for myself to follow the order of the universe so that I do not become sick, I think there's a differentiation between this sort of worry and another sort of worry, which the author is, I think, talking about, where it's more about, I guess, boiling, or more about my worldview. So it boiling down to the way in which I see my illness, um, as if it is haphazardly happening to me, as if it just comes as a result of all of these, elements coming together. And it was unfortunate that I happened to be at that particular place at that particular time under those particular circumstances. Otherwise, am I not made to worry in a way too? Or is worry not a part of my human feelings and my human qualities as well? But I do think that the author is making a distinction here between perhaps what a normal worry would look like, and what, this sort of worry that, encapsulates also the way in which I see illness is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you, HBasa. I put a question. So what is the normal worry and what's the other sort of worry? If you can clarify that also.
Sure. I think like the normal worry is, I guess, as far as I understand it, if, something very simple. Um, for example, I might worry that, for, maybe, I'm driving somewhere and the roads are not very good, or there might be other sharp objects on the road, and I might worry that something might, penetrate into my tires and cause harm to the vehicle. So that sort of worry, I think, is good, because it makes me become aware of and cautious and conscious of my situation, so that I take the necessary precautions not to, have my tires pierced by anything. I might take another path if that's possible. I know the example is not great. Um, Whereas the second sort of worry, which I think the author is talking about, is, maybe the roads may be just fine, but I still have this sort of worry, because, what if I'm at the wrong place at the wrong time, and I just happen to experience some sort of penetration of my car tires or something. What if someone threw a bottle, although under normal conditions there's no glass bottles or anything, or something like that. I guess, one that makes me a victim of a certain event as a result of things coming together on their own, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, thank you. So I felt that it's more like a concern, like instead of a worry. But I don't know what others think. Brother Ali, please go ahead.
Before we close the session today, very quickly, the second paragraph from bottom says, just as thanks increases bounty, so complaint increases illness and tribulations. Now, my question was to myself first, what does it mean? Thanks increases bounty. Of course, if we understand, I thought about it, I said, if I understand the bounty as the amount of property, or as the amount of the matter in my hand, when I'm thankful, it will increase. That understanding is wrong. It means the amount of property will increase. No, it doesn't increase materially, the property-wise. But what is the point in having the property is to get benefit from it. This benefit is the bounty. For example, I may have lots of things, but if I'm not using them, they are not bounty for me. If I'm not benefiting from them, they are not bounty for me. But I will understand the bounty means the property is there, but what I benefit from it. So if I am thankful, bounty will increase. It means if I am happy with what I have been given, then I will appreciate it more. But if I'm not happy with what I am given, it means not being thankful for what I am given. It means I will expect more and more and more. So my feeling of satisfaction from what I have been given will not be satisfied at all, because I feel that I will need even more, even more. That is not enough. That is not enough. So I will be living the lack of satisfaction within myself, because I am not thankful for the amount which is given to me. If someone is thankful for the food which is offered to this person, he will benefit from it, he will like it. But if one expects always more, better and better, he will be not satisfied with what he's already given. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't ask for more, but we should ask for more bounty, not necessarily for more property without seeing the benefit in them for me, and always thinking that I am lacking something. Something is missing. Something is not perfect. Something is not complete. This kind of feeling really makes the people unhappy. So the same mentality goes with the illness. If I complain about the illness, it means I'm not thankful, then the illness becomes a means of criticism, unhappiness, or dissatisfaction for me. Sorry, quickly, I could just express this way. I think you understood what I meant, although it is not complete.
Thank you, Brother Ali. So Faria has a question on that.
So the bounty is really my realization or recognition where I'm benefiting from it, that is coming from an absolute source of existence.
Would you like to answer, Brother Ali? Or yeah, so Brother Ali, I think he was saying it's not the, I mean, I think we all understand that it's not the, I will get more, but whatever is given, whatever is there, as Faria said, that, you know, being grateful, appreciating it, being thankful, that is the reward, that is the bounty. Yeah, Brother Ali, go ahead.
Sorry, I think you summarized it. The time is late. So it is clear that bounty is not the amount of the property. Bounty is what you get out of this, whatever is given to you, and being thankful for it. But it doesn't mean that we shouldn't ask more. I mean, it doesn't mean, okay, one loaf of bread is enough for me. I don't want anything else. This is not being thankful. Thankful means we have to strive. Whatever is given, we have to be happy with it and try to enjoy it. Never think that, I need even more. I should have gotten better, etc. So always feeling the lack of, missing of something in my life makes my life miserable. That is really an important element in our life. If you want to be happy in our existence, in our being, I have to be thankful whatever is given to me, but it doesn't mean I shouldn't ask for more. That is the balance.
Alhamdulillah, thank you. Mariam, would you like to read your comments? Please go ahead. We do have time for your reading to hear your voice. Mariam?
Save time, I think we shouldn't read it because we're already almost 10 minutes over.
That's all right. You can read it. That will take a few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes. We can do that. I can stay.
Okay, I'll read it. My first note for the 10th remedy was, everything in this universe belongs to him. When anything is given to you, you must accept it because it is a gift from our Creator. When a sickness is given to you, you should accept it and welcome it, but try to stay away from it. You should never turn sickness into a point of criticism. Worry doubles the sickness. If worry ceases through submission, content, and comprehension of the reason for the illness, a large part of the sickness is taken away. Sickness means to get to know him and to appreciate the smallest things. If you look at the universe, would you think that it's making itself? Would that make sense? The universe is under the command of one Lord. Everything in this universe is free except for things that humans make and or sell. Worry itself is an illness. Its cure is to understand the purpose of it. Worry doubles illness. Worry increases illness. Furthermore, worry itself is an illness. There are two types of worrying. 1, good worrying. 2, bad worrying. Good worrying is worrying because of concern, and bad worrying is excessive worrying. Good worrying helps you follow the order of the universe. Bad worrying causes you to constantly be paranoid. And that was my last note.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Mariam. Mashallah. We got some applause as well. And I think this is the time we can close our discussion, and inshallah we'll pick up from the next 11th remedy next time, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma alamtana innaka antal alimul hakim wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Al-Fatiha.